And also it's like it says that thus fortune and the sorrows are the so unpredictable. It is no use trying, full of the hopes and fear, to control the such ever-changing happiness and sufferings. Instead, simply leave all the comforts, wealth, and pleasures of this world behind, like so much spilled in the dust. Spilt, this thing. The water of the come from the mouth, and this like kind of the dust. And it is the true, and thanks. The fortunes, we can to say that temporary happiness, and the temporary is a sorrow, the uncomfortable. And sometimes we have such hope and fear. And this kind of hope and fear causing the like fortune and sorrow. Like these things are unpredictable. And today it's like kind of looks like good, but maybe we don't know what happened tomorrow. And also today's looks like it's a very sorrow, something, but who knows tomorrow, maybe be more happy. And like this, in this life, in this world, in this like kind of the dream lives, and we are followed the such and kind of the for the how to live a life, and also it's like how much I can to receive a comfortable wealth and the pleasure, these things, the worldly. And these things is like too much to concerning and too much to like kind of the follow, too much chasing, not to concern any kind of the impermanent. And probably finally there's a big kind of the hesitation or the regret, or it's like kind of the mistakes coming up, and like this. Maybe we have a kind of some comfortable, why not? Maybe we have some like well-being, wealth, and also maybe some, fortunately, we have like kind of the pleasures. And in this perspective, of course, we can to use everything's enjoyed, but not too much clinging, not too much detachment. And it doesn't make me be arrogant or proud. It doesn't make confusion mind. It's kind of the more concerning the impermanent, more prepared for the, and maybe benefit for the enlightened and also impermanent. And also sometimes there is like the unfortunate. Maybe we have there's nothing kind of uncomfortable place. Maybe it's not wealth, and maybe there's not much have like pleasures, and a little bit kind of sorrow, but not much to have fear or unhappy anxieties, and to think about impermanent. Everything is changeable, it's possible. There's nothing kind of fixations. And this kind of alternate, sometimes a little looks like seems happy, sometimes looks like sorrow. There's very much this kind of changing up, down, forward and backward. And the life is like this. This kind of like maybe don't much to care. It's like a kind of the concern, same as the dust in the like kind of the spittle. And of course, if there is, but not much clinging, not much detachment. When we have, you have, it doesn't make different in our minds. Minds should to concern all the times authentic Dharma, to develop the compassion and preparing for the enlightenment and for the impermanent. and also the resolve to the follow in the footstep of the conquerors and of the past. It is also truth. And also it's like we are kind of follow footstep of the Buddhas and the great before enlightened beings. And also it's like when we follow and these footsteps, maybe also we need to reach in those levels. They are concord. We call the concords. Where is the concrete? They are concrete from the sorrow, from the dualistic mind of the hope and the fear. And they are like kind of through those conquerors. And when they enter such hardship, accomplishment of the Dharma, finally they are conquered from the samsara, from the sufferings, and they are quite a great winner. And we also, like when we follow those conquerors' footsteps, and maybe also very important to imitating what they did, how they practice Dharma, and how they can to achieve enlightenment. That is very important. And also accepting the courageously whatever hardships you have to suffer to the sake of the Dharma. In order to do the Dharma activities, and how much there's some hardships, maybe why not to undergo, to take the under. And we are doing like some a little bit difficult hardship, and like this, but it's finally great achievement. And it is like this kind of sometimes happened. In Dzogchen there's a very famous Kempo, it's called the Kempo Yenga. Sorry. And his little bit of parents is very much rich, and the father is like small kingdom's king, and also he was quite a tough guy, and until he became 25 something years old, and then it's like there's many different histories, but then one day there's the 5th Dzogchen Rinpoche came, and his fathers invited 5th Dzogchen Rinpoche, and his father is the great sponsor for this 5th Dzogchen Rinpoche, Dzogchen monastery. And then he's asked to Dzogchen Rinpoche, what do you want? What can I support to you? Dzogchen Rinpoche said, I don't need any at all. I need your sons. And then it's like he's crushed. And it's okay. And then it's and his father says, my son's already more than 25 years old, quite a nomad guy. And also when he was quite a wild guy, there's many stories. Really, it can become benefits. And he says, Dzogchen says, if I got that, then it's enough. And I need him. And then, of course, before Dzogchen Rinpoche left, and he offered his son. And of course, son is very big, a little bit embarrassed to become monk that time, but he's not yet married. And then he brought in Zashika, there is near the first Zapata Rinpoche's place, there is one monastery called the Choma. And there is one great masters, it's called the Ombotenga. Probably you can see in his stories in the Longchen Yinti lineages. And Dzogchen Rinpoche came to there, through going back to the monastery, and he says to the Ombotenga, can you take care of this guy? It's for me, it's very important. You give education, everything. So after I needed this. And then Ombotenga said, okay. And then he's like become monastery. Then Ombotenga, he gave to him empowerment of the matrusher, and he didn't give any kind of teachings. And he said, you need to go to the retreat. And immediately he sent in the retreat. Retreat is like small yak tent. These Choma monasteries, they never built something. All the times monks, they're living in the tent. And even the temples sometimes yak tent. And then he's stood there, and of course sometimes no food, and really very, very hardship. And one day it's like the Ombotenga's manager. In the Ombotenga's it's like a big, like Lama's house, like there's yakten. Sometimes they have a lot of butter. And also in Tibet, butter collect, then put in the yak leather, like candle to make weight, and then yak leather's dyed. It's like become the big box, very hard. And then is when you finish it, the butter, and then you need to throw out. You can't do nothing. It's very hard, like almost a plastic. But of course, the dog they can eat. And then from the Lama's house, they many this kind of in the rubbish bin in the throat. And then his manager saw this monk, and he's coming out from taking the water. It's like shaking. And then he's like, there's like a contain, and he put water, and he saw the nearby there's one butter box. And in the butter box, they throw out, still there's a little bit of butter. And then he took out, in these nails, and took out, and he licked. And then is this manager saw like this, wow, his tears are coming. And then he thought, why is the master's doing like this? And then slowly he went back. Of course, his manager, he took like maybe few kilos of the butter and give to him, and secretly. But in the afternoon, and the Ombotenga was so angry, and he called the manager, and what you did? Said, I didn't do nothing, said. You didn't do nothing. You think you have compassion better than me? And you completely destroyed my student. Why you give butter? And then he cried and said sorry. And then after days, like then Ombotenga called to this student, now you need to come. And you a little bit, there's something, purifications left. And but because it's according to my managers. And you, of course, went under the hardship, but now almost ready. And a little bit left, but this he stopped to you. And if completely you finish these 3 years of retreat, then you become the extraordinary. And then he give teaching start. He's enjoy to the teachings. He's extreme something. It's like fast, very much fast to study. And then inside the Ombotenga house, 1,000 students. And sometimes like some students to reveal teacher. And Kambos, the Ombotenga teach, after they make the groups, reveal teachers. And then is this Kambo, these guys, he's become the like second teacher. And his groups, everybody is learned and become the very fast. Compared to other groups, it's extreme. Then Ombotenga was very happy. And he gave all the educations. And then one day he sent to the Dzogchen Rinpoche, and he sent to the Dzogchen monastery, and he was in the university as Kambo Yangazi. You can to look in some histories, and his comment there's such is a Nangachuna Asanga's text, and it's very, very famous, and really, and also it's like before he passed away, and 1,000 like students. One day he make big talk, and then he's preparating his leaving. And then so many students came and says, you cannot go because it's like need to use it. He was quite old, and he says like, I cannot, my bodies cannot to strength is loosed. It's better to go. And then students cried, then how long I need to stay, he said. And then they said, as much as you. Okay, I give you suggestions. 1 year? No. 2 years? No. More than you cannot ask 3 years. I will stay 3 years. During this, I can do support. After the 3 years, you cannot to ask to me. And then, of course, they cannot say no, and they say yes. And then, of course, he cannot to go and to pass away. And then there's continue. And 1 year, 2 years, sometimes he's making funny to look at the birds, to say, birds is very nice. Why is the freedom? Whenever they want to go, I'm not a freedom prisoner. I cannot, whenever I want, I cannot go. And then it's after the 3 years, that during the 3 years, he give many launching hints. Really, he's like the second almost at Jigme Lingpa, and he give the transmissions. And like this, in Dzogchen, there's most is the Longchen tradition lineages come from Cambodjanga. And Cambodjanga is like there's 6 Dzogchen Rinpoche's teacher in Cambodjan Tengombo. Then after also Pema Kazo Rinpoche, all of them. And then it's after the 3 years, then he said, now no Buddhist cannot ask, because my Buddhist. It is like this. And this beginning, it is like his need to purification. And he went to visit the teacher. Teacher put it into the retreat place. Maybe in our West, sometimes it's very much, if you put there, then maybe they want to put teacher into the person. If he says, oh, you give me such a hardship, this is not really Dharma, and you punished me, you beat me, you did me, but like this. But it's really, it's like sometimes a little bit, I'm saying, it's like go under the hardship, doing Dharma things. Is, of course, it's very, very important. To say and therefore, it's like following some is like a footstep of this Concord great masters, and to do the accomplishment of the Dharma, to be enlightenment quickly, like in this single life. Of course, there is sometimes we need to do hardship, but sometimes it's like in Europe. Often we are talking. It's a wonderful conditions if you really to practice. For example, if I'm become a great practitioner in Europe, this is a retreat place. You can to your own apartment, in your house, you can to make retreat there, and it's like to be silent. It's a wonderful place. Absolutely, the like kind of the hermitage place. And it's like this. Also, it's like you a little to prepare. It's like this, and everything is fantastic with them. Ancient times, when you make Dharma, make a retreat or some practice, you go to place difficult to get water, difficult firewood, difficult to food, drink. It's a very, very hardship. And for ours, it's not like this. Water is at home, and the gas is in our home. But in our kitchen, there's no gas. It's only the firewood. And all gas. The Sonias did yesterday doing very hard way to make the food. But this is okay. And like this hardship, a little bit, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's good for the sake of the Dharma. And like this, there's excellent and the mediocre. It is like good and bad. It's the impermanent truth. This they're using the mediocrity. I don't know, it is like excellent is good, and also the opposite, the unexcellent. Maybe it's good and bad. R is impermanent. It also is a truth. And we should to concern is like these things. Sometimes we are looks like good, but maybe it's a temporary. We cannot to rely on. It's changeable. Sometimes we are looks like bad, but also this don't need to worry, because it is also changeable. And everything is in the relative. There's nothing fixation and changeable. And also it's externally appearances. Sometimes looks like nice, but don't need to completely trust or something. It is also changeable. Sometimes looks bad or good, but like everything is like this. And ourself also is like this changeable. When I'm changing my body, speech, mind, at that time I need a really authentic Dharma. And now it's urgently, quickly, I need to accomplish the Dharma. I need to do is like effort for the sake of the Dharma, the teacher. However, in a worldly life, however authoritative and the eloquent you may be, however erudite and also the talented, however strong and skillful, the time comes then those qualities decline. And also it's like sometimes it's like we are in the worldly perspective. There are like kind of someone is authoritative. It's like kind of the like judgment, principal person. And also you give like kind of snoopit, like kind of the, how do you say, snow speech or no? It's like a great speaker, eloquent speaker. And nice is like give conference. And also it's like you are like the candidate and erudite, very learned. And also you may be like kind of the lawyer, judge. And it's like very important in the countryside. And also very much clever, very much like brave, strong. And also you have very skilled, capable mind. And skilled. And then it's like those kind of people, some in the certainly it's collapsed, then it's very sorry, but it's coming and lost all the qualities. Maybe those are become the kind of the 60, 70, 80 years old, then there's everything's going to like they disappeared and like fade away. And in this perspective, those kind of the power, strength, and this kind of not very much rely on, and do not need to make like kind of you are proud or arrogant, and we need to think these things are the impermanent, and which kind of to the benefit for the in the impermanence. And like this, once the merit you have the accumulated in the past is the exhausted, everything you think is the contentions, and the nothing you do succeeded. And like kind of, and also it's like first maybe you have some, it's like a fortune, good luck, and sometimes you are very good according to maybe on the past accumulation merits, and it's like a fantastic achievement. Maybe it's like the root and the cause of this kind of maybe exhausted. And then it's like everything is like kind of the going down. Maybe it's very difficult to do something, be successful. And everything is good or bad, it has a cause. And there's no cause, and then there's like the result is lesser like this. For example, in ourselves, if you first time you may be sick, and say, oh, I'm sick, and then you can to take the medicines, and then your sickness is more and go away. Maybe you become more and more healthy and become the more and more comfortable. That means is the cause of this sickness is disappeared. Like this, the cause is something disappeared, then there's not much result. Exactly also positive things. And maybe now presently pleasure, comfortable, beautiful, handsome, and many good things. Also itself, it has some cause. And this cause is exhausted, and if we do not add it again, and then it's like, then it's slowly, it's like the opposite is happened. And therefore, when we have little good things, oh, I'm very happy, maybe I done some positive and accumulation, very good things. Maybe meditate compassion, kindness, maybe developed my perfect view, maybe it's like my understanding of the Dharma perfect. And then it's like I did. Now it's like these great opportunities, I want to more happy, more do the positive. And then in the future it's more happy, it's more and more successful. Then it's slowly best successful of the perfect Buddhahood. That is necessary, is we needed. Maybe we can to stop there. Then tomorrow is no problems, or day after tomorrow. So nam doi tam che zifanya, tom ni ni padana pang. She ganan chi walam tripaya sapan solin dro kan dro shu shoncho san chorum boche ma shi pan nan she jurchi shi pa nyamba me pa ton koni kondan perwa